Okay, quick question before we start. Have you ever looked at a chicken and thought, yeah, that thing used to be terrifying? Because it did. Birds are dinosaurs. The velociraptor's however many times great grandkid is currently judging you from a rotisserie at your local grocery store. So technically, dinosaurs never went extinct at all. They just downgraded massively. But that's not the story we're telling today. Today, we're asking the real question, the one that's been living rent free in your brain since you were 7 years old holding a plastic T Rex in the bathtub. What if the asteroid missed? What if 66 million years ago, that 6 mile wide chunk of space rock just kept flying, sailed right past Earth, gave us a nice light show, and left the dinosaurs completely, arrogantly, gloriously alive? Let's actually get into what we know first, because believe it or not, this isn't just fan fiction. Scientists have genuinely modeled this. The asteroid hit what's now Mexico, an area called Chicxulub. And here's the part that makes paleontologists lose sleep. If it had hit literally anywhere else on the planet, deep ocean, thicker crust, doesn't matter. The impact wouldn't have kicked up enough sulfur to block the sun for years. Global temperatures wouldn't have crashed, plants wouldn't have died on a planetary scale. The dinosaurs had a 90 something percent chance of surviving that day, and they lost the worst lottery in the history of life on Earth. 99.99% of the timeline, they walk away fine. We just happen to live in the one where they didn't. So let's live in that other timeline for the next few minutes. Fast forward 66 million years without a reset button. No meteor, no ice age winter, no clean slate for tiny rat like mammals to inherit the planet. Dinosaurs don't just survive, they keep evolving, the same way birds evolved after them. Except now, they've got another 66 million years of head start that mammals never got to steal. And that's the twist nobody talks about. Dinosaurs weren't primitive lizards lumbering around waiting to die. They were already getting smarter, faster, more efficient. Give evolution another 66 million years, and what you get isn't Jurassic Park. It's something worse. Something that's had way more time to perfect the art of being an apex predator. Here's where the danger scale comes in. Because not every dinosaur survivor scenario is equally terrifying. And honestly, some of them are kinda chill. Level 1, Coexistence. Smaller feathered species, the ones basically already birds, just keep being birds, but bigger and weirder. No real threat, just an ecosystem with more color and drama on the Discovery Channel. Level 2, we start changing entire ecosystems. Big herbivores reshaping forests the way elephants do now, except 40 tons heavier. Level 3, regional threats. Apex predators claiming entire continents the way tigers or bears do, except you really don't want to go camping there. Level 4, full food chain domination. And level 5, the one where humanity has an actual problem, is where things get genuinely uncomfortable. Because that's the scenario where a descendant of something like a velociraptor, pack hunting, coordinated, terrifyingly intelligent for its size, never had 66 million years to shrink down into a pigeon. It stayed exactly what it was built to be, a hunter with a plan. And this is the part that should really mess with your head. We probably wouldn't be here to worry about it anyway. Mammals only got their shot at world domination because the biggest reptilian competition got wiped out overnight. No wipeout, no window. Early mammals stay small, stay nocturnal, stay prey. The evolutionary lane that eventually produces you scrolling this video at 1 a.m. simply never opens. In most versions of this timeline, humans don't exist to ask the question in the first place. Kind of poetic, honestly. The one thing that had to die for us to be born was an entire class of animals that, by every measure, was doing just fine. But let's say, for the sake of a good story, some version of intelligent primates does claw its way up anyway. Slower, later, sharing the planet with something that's already been the boss for 100 million years longer than we've had civilization. What does that world even look like? Forget the movie image of a T-Rex casually strolling through downtown traffic. That's not how nature works. Big predators don't wander into cities for fun. Cities would be avoided, the way bears avoid highways mostly. The real horror isn't a dinosaur crashing your commute, it's what happens at the edges. Farmland pushed right up against ancient migratory routes that something the size of a bus considers its personal property. It's fishing fleets running into marine reptiles that make a great white shark look like a goldfish. It's entire regions of Earth that stay permanently, deliberately unclaimed by humans, not because we chose to be gracious neighbors, but because going in there gets you killed. Civilization itself would have had to build differently from day one. No open plain villages. No livestock grazing in open fields the way we do now, because open fields are a buffet sign written in cow. Early human settlements in this timeline are defensive by necessity. Walls first, farming second. Our entire relationship with nature stays adversarial centuries longer than it did in real history, because in real history, we spent most of it hunting the biggest, scariest things on the planet into extinction ourselves. Mammoths, saber-toothed cats, giant ground sloths, we outcompeted and outkilled nearly everything bigger than us. Except in this timeline, some of bigger than us showed up 66 million years earlier and never stopped adapting to survive exactly the kind of clever, tool-using threat that we would eventually become. And let's actually sit inside level 5 for a second, because that's the scenario your brain keeps circling back to anyway. Picture a pack of something descended from Deinonychus. Think Velociraptor's bigger, meaner cousin. The one Jurassic Park was actually supposed to be modeling before the movie made them house cat size for some reason. Now give that animal 66 million more years to refine pack tactics that already rivaled wolves. These things wouldn't be roaring and smashing through walls like a monster truck rally. They'd be quiet, they'd be patient. They'd be doing recon on your livestock for 3 days before anyone even noticed something was watching from the tree line. That's the actual nightmare, not chaos, but competence. An animal that's had longer to practice being a predator than humans have had to practice being anything at all. And can we talk about the ocean for 1 second? Because everyone forgets the sea never got the memo about the age of reptiles ending. Marine reptiles like mosasaurs were already pushing 45 feet long and hunting in open water when that asteroid hit. Give that lineage the same 66 million year runway land dinosaurs get in this scenario, and coastal fishing simply doesn't exist the way we know it. Surfing doesn't exist. Beach vacations get real complicated. We'll actually save that entire nightmare for its own episode because trust me, it deserves one. Which honestly raises the best question of the entire episode. Who actually wins that fight long term? Because here's the uncomfortable truth. Animals that survive real pressure, generation after generation, tend to get terrifyingly good at surviving it. A dinosaur lineage that made it through 66 million extra years of predators, disease, climate shifts, and eventually competing directly with a tool making primate wouldn't be some dumb movie monster waiting to get outsmarted by a kid with a flare gun. It would be the single most battle tested animal lineage in the history of Earth. And we'd be the new species on the block, trying to figure out the rules of a game that something else has been playing since before flowers existed. And here's a fun little kicker to chew on. Even in the timelines where humans do show up, we probably don't get the internet, phones, or this video existing. Why? Because most of our early technological leaps came from having free run of open grasslands to hunt, farm, and eventually build empires without something the size of a school bus contesting the property line. Slower tech, smaller populations, way more energy spent just staying alive instead of inventing agriculture, writing, or Wi-Fi. So if you're annoyed your phone's at 11% right now, thank that asteroid. It's the reason you have a phone. So no, the missed asteroid isn't the fun timeline. It's not Jurassic Park, but real. It's a planet where the apex predators had a 66 million year head start on getting good at being apex predators. And humanity, if it exists at all, shows up late to a table that was never set for us. Which brings us back to that chicken in your fridge. Maybe it's not sad that dinosaurs lost. Maybe that asteroid is the only reason any of us get to sit here right now, arguing about hypothetical raptors instead of running from real ones. Next episode, we're going somewhere just as unsettling. The ocean, 60 feet down, where a predator way bigger than anything that ever walked on land never actually left. If you thought a T-Rex in your backyard sounded bad, wait until you see what's still technically out there, in open water, right now. Beyond Extinction. Subscribe, because the past isn't as finished as you think it is.